And we are live on another edition of All In on High School Sports. Kurt Valenti, Jennifer Valenti.
Good evening.
What is going on?
Nothing much. What's going on with you?
Oh, what a day. What a day. I want to, just for everyone watching, I don't want to apologize. I'm going to apologize to Chris, too, when he comes here. I know this is a high school show, but I just, I am rocking today the number 3 Bronco jersey. What a day. My Denver Broncos.
But let's clarify that this is a Drew Lock
No.
jersey,
This is right now a Russell Wilson number 3 jersey. I will get the real one. But I am super pumped up. 5 years is a long time. I'm ready to go. We have to actually ask Chris about
We saw a post.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to see what that's about today. But I'm just, what a day. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Very good. Happy for you.
Listen, happy for me. It's been a long time coming. I am ecstatic. I am pumped up. I can't wait to talk tomorrow.
Getting to high school sports.
Yeah, let's get to high school sports.
We have the close of the wrestling season with the wrestling championship. Spring sports started this week, so there's a whole changing of gears. Oh, I see Dr. John sending you a little message
Dr.
there.
John saying, Kurt, some of us from Seattle, lifelong Seahawk fans, are in mourning. Listen, I'm not gonna talk bad about anything. I'm not. I'm ecstatic, Dr. John. I am pumped up. 5 years is a long time. 5 years is how many days?
Oh, so 365
1,500.
times 5, 65 times 5 would be another.
About 2,250?
330, so.
It's a lot of days. A lot of days that I can say I've been like this, but I'm pumped up. Let's get Mr. Corbo in and let's talk a little. Oh, yeah, of course.
You're all over the board.
I'm wired up. I want to ask him what that tweet was about today or that Instagram post.
So tonight we will welcome to the program a senior from West Essex, a standout two-sport athlete, Chris Corbo, football and basketball. Had a phenomenal football season. They were 9-3. Well, you know what? I'll officially introduce him and give some of his stats when we bring him in, and he's ready. So let's get him in here.
Let's get him ready to roll.
All right. We'll just give him a minute to get connected and in here. I can see. Oh, hey, Chris, I can see that you're in. Oh, I'm not sure if we're having a little technical difficulty. Sound and video off for a second, so he's trying to get situated. While we are waiting for him, I will talk about some of his accolades.
Okay.
So again, Chris is a senior at West Essex. So in the fall, he was part of the 9-3 West Essex football team that went to the sectional finals, Group 3, Section 1, if I'm not mistaken, where they fell to, I believe it was a very good West Morris team, if I'm not mistaken, in the sectional finals. And he is part of the 17-10 West Essex basketball team. This season, he not only eclipsed the 1,000 point milestone, but he also went on to break the all-time school scoring record. So I just want to check on, I see that he's still got the, I'm not sure if he can hear me, but maybe if he wants to, oh, there we go, he's back.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, we just can't see you. And there's a little, all right, there we go. Awesome. Hey, Chris. Yes. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, so I just went on my phone. I'm not sure my computer wasn't working.
No worries. We're glad you made it. So welcome, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We just gave a little brief introduction. I'm not sure if you could hear us. So, for your athletic accomplishments at West Essex, part of the 9-3 West Essex football team, went to the sectional finals, and most recently part of the West Essex boys basketball team, where this season you eclipsed the 1,000-point milestone, but also went on to break the all-time school scoring record. So congratulations on all of your achievements. And again, I'm sure there's many more, but we're highlighting want to talk to you specifically about basketball this evening. So congrats and thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Chris, thank you. I just got to say, I got to apologize for one thing. I never do this, but I'm a diehard Denver Bronco fan. So tonight I had to rock a Bronco jersey on the high school show. I had to do it. It's the number 3. I'm going to say this is my Russell Wilson jersey for now, even though it's not.
So Chris, I have to ask you, we're doing our prep for the show, right? And, I asked you about social media today, and I'm doing it, and I go through it, and I'm like, wait a minute. I think it was on Instagram. Did you post something about Russell Wilson on Instagram today?
Well, I did because honestly, I didn't see him I didn't see that coming. I am a Giants fan. I'm not a Broncos fan, but I would root for the Broncos. And there was kind of rumors going around about the Giants looking into him, so that kind of gave me no more hope. But I was kind of just mind blown by the whole trade.
Yeah, so mind blown is a good word that I could use for it today. So I am fired up. I'm a little giddy today. So, but I'm going to do my best. But another thing I want to tell you, though, is beginning of the year, I used to coach at Ramapo High School. She's obviously a graduate of West Essex. So opening night this year, we went to the Ramapo West Essex game. And I just remember one thing from that game is all you kept hearing on the announcement, Corbo. So now that we have you, it's an honor, I'll be honest with you, because that game was a phenomenal game. 2 great programs, but you were all over the field that night. So, I know we're going to talk a little basketball, but just from, again, it's our pleasure to have you on because that was an unbelievable game you played versus Ramapo on opening night.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So again, like Jen said, congratulations on the school record, most points for West Essex. My first question is 2 things. One, was it ever a goal of yours to become the all-time leading scorer? And now, since that you did it, what does it mean that you did it?
It was always a goal of mine, especially when I knew that I would be getting some varsity time my freshman year, and I was looking to get a starting job. It was a goal of mine coming in, and not only just to beat it, but crush it. And I was set back my freshman year because I fractured my thumb. Then obviously with COVID last year, I was kind of behind the 8 ball. So to accomplish it is a dream come true. It means a lot. It checks off a box of personal goals, and it means the world to me. But I couldn't have done it without my teammates and my coaches and my family. So it means the world to forever have my name etched in the history books at West Essex.
Awesome.
That's awesome. I was going to ask you about that actually, if the COVID interference, would have, had an impact. So, we've talked to coaches who's wrestlers could have had 100 match wins, but they lost those things. So we're glad you were able to still get it done. So my question for you is, it was a big season, right? I mean, you do 1,000, then you break the record. What was the atmosphere like at those games?
Oh, the atmosphere was insane, because this doesn't happen, every season. This is something that happens once every decade. If you're lucky, sometimes it takes, 20 years. So, I mean, I had community behind me, people text me good luck. I had random numbers, emails coming in, the whole school. I mean, all my friends were there. I mean, the atmosphere at the 1,000-point game was the best I've ever seen. And then when it came to the record, I mean, people were standing at the doors because no one could sit down because, you get people coming in, young kids, parents, just people who lived in the neighborhood and heard about it. And then, of course, all my friends were there. So it was just a really great memory.
That's all. I have to say, I saw a post on social media and, of course, being a West Essex grad, of course, I was, following a little more intently. But I did see that your 2nd grade teacher came to see you as well. And I just think that is, I happen to know her personally, so I know what a fabulous person and teacher she is as well. So what was it like, like you're saying, you had so many people kind of touching base, but how about somebody who one of your elementary school teachers, how meaningful was that for you?
Oh, it means a lot, especially because I've been in contact with her to this day. I mean, she's one of my favorite teachers ever. I mean, it doesn't get better than her as a teacher. Her kids, I'm good friends with their kids. Our families are close. So, it meant a lot because honestly, that's something I didn't really expect to happen because her son's a freshman and we played Wayne Valley, which is where her son goes a few weeks ago. And I saw them there and I honestly didn't expect her to be there, but for her to be there was just really awesome, especially because, we're still in contact every day and we've known each other forever.
Very nice.
Comment from Dr. John Taylor. Chris, by the way, he's the AD at Irvington. He said, West Essex basketball was the 24th seed in the Essex County tournament. They came into Irvington and upset us in overtime. Chris came in and dominated the game in every way imaginable. In the paint, shooting, defense, rebounding, he was amazing. I spoke to Chris after the game and told him I was a big fan. We play against all the top teams in the county, Seton Hall, Montclair, Immaculate, Eastside. Chris was one of the best players in the county and would start for any of those programs. We nominated him for the North-South game All-Star game because we were so impressed.
Oh, so nice.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I'll go off script real quick. So how did you break the record? What was it? Free throw, jump shot, layup? What was it?
It was a 3-pointer.
Okay.
Yes. It was
Nice.
off an inbounds play. I came around a few screens and caught it, quick release, and went right in.
Did you know when it left your hand that it was good?
To be honest, I didn't think it was going in.
Nice.
How many points did you need that night to break the record?
I needed 18 points to tie and 19 to beat it.
Okay, so now, I'll be honest, though. Did you feel a little pressure through that game or not really?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And, honestly, even more than my 1,000-point game, because it's funny. My 1,000-point game, I probably want to say I started 0 for 7 from the free throw line that day. And usually I'm a pretty good free throw shooter. So there was a lot of nerves. I mean, even, the first half, I went into halftime with 9 points, and I was like, well, this isn't going to be easy. But luckily I came out in the second half and started out on fire. So it got there quickly.
Great. Second question. So, again, you're a two-sport elite athlete, like I said. Obviously, you had a tremendous basketball career. We were lucky to see you guys playing a really good game versus Ramapo. So, what does it mean to be an elite athlete at West Essex High School?
Oh, it means everything, especially at such a rich, historic school. I mean, every sport, for the most part, is always top in the state. I mean, there's been great players that come through the program every year, kids who are playing D1 sports at every level, some who have gone to play professionally, and if they haven't, they've been doing other things in their sports area that created to make a change. So to be an elite athlete at West Essex is really means a lot.
All right, one more question to piggyback off of that. Just let me give one more, okay? And then I'll get back to them. But, you guys are always good in football season, meaning playoffs. You go a little, into the winter season. For your 4 years, how was it, adjusting, going right from football into basketball? Did you have to, kind of ease in a little bit, take a little break, or was it just full go? Football's over. I got to get now right into basketball.
So my basketball coaches were really good with me and a few other guys, getting a few days off, not really having to do much during tryouts, just get the body right because, as we know, football is a violent sport and it's on your body, so you definitely need a week or so to recover. But for me, I always wanted to get on the court right after, even if I was sore or had something nagging. I just wanted to play right away. So sometimes I would push them, but they wouldn't let me. But I'd love to go from sport to sport. I've been doing it my whole life, especially when I played baseball too. So I was always nonstop. So I've always been used to it. But it takes a toll on your body. But I love it, and the coaches are good with maintaining healthiness.
So congratulations on your commitment to play at Dartmouth next year, football, correct? Congratulations.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, thank you.
Academic institution as well, putting the student and student athlete, that's phenomenal. So I got a couple of questions for you. So first is, as I just feel like when coaching at West Essex and having played there, the question wasn't oh, are you going to play in college? The question was, which sport are you going to play in college? And so my first question is, did you contemplate, was it always going to be football, or did you contemplate playing, any of your other sports in college as well?
It's actually funny because my freshman year, after I had a pretty good freshman varsity season, I was hard set on college basketball. But from a little kid, I was always college football professionally. So my sophomore year, going into my freshman year, I stopped playing baseball to join AAU basketball teams in hopes of getting college looks. But then after my sophomore football year, I was no, football is always where it's been. I'm going to ride there. So from there on, it was always been football. So I kind of knew that I was going to play college football, and people now have been telling me to play both, but I think it's just going to be football.
It's the back-to-back seasons are hard in college, Yeah, but
Yeah.
never say never, right?
Right.
And then my next question is, what are your goals at the next level?
My goal is the next level is to make an impact right away. As I said, like my dream since a little kid is to play professionally, and it still is. And until that doesn't happen, I'm going to keep working for it. So I want to make an impact right away as a freshman. Try and win Ivy, Rookie of the Year, beat all Ivy my 4 years. I know it's a big goal and not going to be easy, but it's something that I want to try to do.
Now, the coaching staff already have the position for you, or a couple different options, or like any of that said yet?
Yeah, so I'm gonna play like a tight end, but like more of like an H-back tight end, and they're gonna split me out too. So like mainly they'll probably designate me as a tight end, but I'll split out.
Oh, like a wide out. So you're pretty much like a new age NFL tight end quote. But what? Yeah, that's the thing that's awesome about, like, again, watching you for the one game. Like, you could do so much. Like, the game has changed, in my opinion, on the, I mean, even in the high school level, but professional and college, of where, like, now a player like you is, it's a mismatch, like, because
Right.
a linebacker, how are you going to, you're not like the old traditional tight end. You're basically a wide out playing tight end. And I just think that that's, going forward for you, I just think it's going to be an unbelievable opportunity,
Right.
Going back, one more. Okay, so one more. So for me, for underclassmen, like, what advice would you give, whether it's underclassmen at West Essex now, or even more like fifth graders, sixth graders, seventh graders, kids like that are going to be going through the West Essex program? What would some of the advice be for them?
I would say that you're gonna have to work your butts off and really put in your time and effort, because you're held to a high standard here. I mean, we expect nothing less than a state championship appearance every year, and if we don't get there, it's a failure. And even this season, we got there, but we would have loved to win. We still see it as a great season in our eyes, but you're held high at West Essex. For the guys now on the team, I would tell them to remember how we felt walking off that field this year, because we were all hugging each other, tears in our eyes. It was not good, and to embrace the moment and like always have that in the back of your head when you're like doing reps and you like want to give up, because you can't, especially when you play a great team like West Morris next year, who's returning guys. You're held to a high standard here every year, so you have to put the work in.
But now you did win one, though, correct? In your
No,
4 years? You never won one in a full. But you guys were in how many sectional finals did you guys get to?
I was in 2 in my 4 years.
2 in your 4.
So, Chris, you've had a lot of influences in your life from obviously your coaches, your football coaching staff, the basketball coaching staff, and, you come from your family as well, who you've mentioned too. You come from a line of collegiate players who played football collegiately. So can you tell us how they've impacted you as a student athlete?
Oh, tremendously, because everyone here looks out for each other. Will Perez, who was going to be a rising senior at Princeton, was reaching out to me when I was getting recruited, helping me out, giving me advice on what to do and like what I could do to become a better player. And the coaches, they always want the best for their players. So they give you advice, and they're going to be honest with you, whether you like it or not. They're just trying to do what's in the best interest for you. And same with the guys that have played college. I see them all now, whether they're playing D3 locally or they're playing D1 and come home and reach out to me. We all still have a connection and talk and always just want the best interest from each other.
Very nice.
I guess another question, we go off script a lot, Chris. So just thinking about this, you're in, like you said, you're in a program that demands success, right? And expects success. So I think, like, I don't know. See if you agree or disagree with me. Like, I think you're so much better prepared now to go to that next level because you've been in so many games. You've had so much like expectations and pressure. And I mean, for a high school student in a great program like West Essex, you dealt with that pressure. I mean, you agree with me or disagree with me? That's going to help you a little getting, early on into the next level.
Oh, I agree 100%, because Coach Benaquista also wants us to play against great competition. I mean, even this year we played against 3 outstanding teams in the regular season that, are producing D1 talent, whether they're seniors now committed, D1 juniors getting D1 offers right now. Guys, the Rampo quarterback, that kid's going to be a really good player. And, to go against him, not that I'm playing defense, it just shows you what kind of competition we're going against. But it definitely has to be prepared. I mean, my sophomore year, due to an injury, I got the chance to start, and I'm going against kids that are bigger than me, There was a Rutgers commit there who was a junior. So I've been going against these kind of kids my whole life. So I definitely think I have an advantage.
I actually had one more question off script as well. I saw that you guys in basketball, when your last state tournament game, I believe at Tenafly, is that correct?
Yes.
The when I heard it described as one of the most exciting basketball games that by several people. So you guys came from behind to force overtime. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Anything about that game you wanted to impart on us? Tell us a little bit about how that went down.
Yeah, so our first half, unfortunately, that was the worst half of basketball we played all season. It came at the worst time. But we were down, I want to say, 15 at Irvington, as mentioned before. And we held them to 0 points in the second quarter. We came back. So I came up to the guys in the locker room and I said, listen, we've done this before. Irvington was a great team, and we were able to do it there, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to do it here. We ended up, the lead got a few points more, so we're down, I want to say 17, with just a few minutes left in the third. But 10 minutes of basketball is like 40 minutes. It could change like this. So we fought back. We got the stops we needed. We made shots, and it went back and forth. Then it went into overtime, and a few miscues. Just we threw it away. But that was a game that we should have won, and it's still bothering me now.
And then, so now, what does your spring look like? I mean, is it just full go? Hey, I'm starting to get ready for football soon. I mean, is that what your spring's going to look like?
Oh yeah, I mean, so our final game was on Thursday, so I gave myself the weekend off Friday just to get a few, a little more strength, just a little recovery time. But I was in the weight room yesterday. I couldn't make it today because I had a few appointments. But now I'm just full on, in the weight room grinding and getting ready for the fall.
Very nice.
Great.
All right, Chris, we have a little follow-up questions we like to call rapid fire. They're a little more like quick paced. You ready for that one?
Yeah.
All right. So since you're a two-sport player, I'm going to ask you a two-part question for the first one. Actually, it's going to be a four-part because I just switched it up. But you said you're a Giant fan, right?
Yes.
All right. NBA fan?
Yes, I'm a Knicks fan.
All right. Because we were cutting you off if you would have said a Brooklyn Nets fan. We were cutting you right off.
The Zoom would have had some technical difficulty.
Yeah, that's we're Knicks fans in this household. But favorite NFL player of all time, favorite NBA player of all time?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with Victor Cruz, and I'm going to go with Kobe Bryant.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Like it. All right. Who in each sport also, you can talk football and then basketball. Who is your biggest rival? Which school in each sport?
So in high school or just like
high school, yeah.
Okay, well, so our usual rivalries are like Nutley, Caldwell, but I mean, when we played them all in high school, we blew them out. So those are our rivals, but it wasn't very much a close game. And in basketball, I would say that our rival was Glen Ridge.
Nice.
Dr. John, again, AD from Irvington, is saying, by the way, Chris, the shot you made, the shot you guys made against us, that game that forced to overtime, the refs called it a 2, and your coaches called it a 3. Watch the film. It was a 3. Game shouldn't have gone to overtime. You had it 1 in regulation. So, not many people would admit something like that.
Dr. John's a good friend of the show and very honest man.
I appreciate it because that's good to know because honestly, in the film that we have, we can't even tell to this day. So
there you go.
Thank you for that.
Some clarification.
All right, next question we always ask our guests, but we're going to ask you a 3-part. In the West Essex, like roundabout area near West Essex high schools, it could be a couple towns right there. Give me the best pizza place, best deli, and best ice cream place.
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. Okay, so I'm going to say the best pizza place, in my opinion, is La Pizza in Roseland. It's very underrated. I don't know if a lot of people know about it because it's kind of hidden, but I've been going there since a little kid, and it never fails.
Okay.
The best ice cream place, I'm going to have to go with Gelati. It just never fails. And what was the third one?
Deli. Like if I want a sandwich.
Deli. Il Classico in Fairfield.
There you go. I love that place.
We pick up there like once a week. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they never fail as well.
Very nice. All right, what's your favorite subject in school?
Oh, my favorite subject in school, I would probably say is history.
All right, and do you have any idea of what you might want to major in college yet?
it's kind of still in the air because like Dartmouth's majors are kind of unique to like the usual major, but I want to do something either like in the business field or like sports management, like sports management or marketing area.
Very nice.
Okay, my last one starting next week. It's the biggest thing. Well, I'll still say football's the biggest thing, but another one, the big one, March Madness. So tournaments, people are going to be writing up brackets, who's picking who. Right now, obviously the bracket's not out, but right now you're on the spot. Who's winning the national championship?
The Duke Blue Devils.
Oh, God, I knew it.
Listen,
I knew it.
She's a UVA grad. She's a UVA fan, and she did not want to hear that. But you know what?
It's okay. He still lost his last game, so that's not going to change. Cameron, so I'll take it.
Wow.
All right. And my last one for you, Chris. So, having grown up in the area myself, I'm curious to hear the end. I actually had him add the ice cream question because I say, I want to see if he says gelatis.
You did.
So, if you guys, your team, whether it's football or basketball, you guys are going out to eat after practice, where's your go-to place in the area that you guys head to?
Okay, so after the game, it's been a tradition for a while. So after every game, we would go to the West Essex Diner in Fairfield. But I would say that after a practice, another tradition is every Wednesday night after practice, we go to Chipotle because we have a night practice on Wednesdays. So we would go to Chipotle, the whole team would go. But I would say that if it was like a Monday or Tuesday and we all want to go somewhere, I would have to say that if I had to choose, it would be Chick-fil-A.
There you go.
Nice, very nice. All right, West Essex Diner, formerly Versailles. Yep.
Yeah.
It's been.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Il Classico, he said.
The West Essex kids just don't change.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on. As Kurt said, we've been following you just, through our reporting through high school. So it was really nice to meet you officially, and we wish you nothing but the best at the next chapter.
And we would love to catch up with you again, of course.
Of course, definitely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I had a great time.
No, awesome. It was awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so standout West Essex, standout Chris Corbo. And, like before, when you said it to me before, and we're sitting there and I'm like writing it down, like we're, doing our agenda. I'm like, do you remember like being at that game? And I'm just like, damn, kids all over the field.
But we also watched a couple times West
on the
Essex,
TV, on the streaming it, yeah.
We just, it would always be his name. So it's so funny because I feel like we really have followed him. And so it was, so nice to see. And again, great accomplishments. And you know what? A student athlete, again, I just think so important, the academics. And so again, wishing him a lot of success in all his future endeavors.
And you know what, like I said, there's some people that are like, like in awe, like, oh my God, like look with, probably from a junior level on, like definitely into West Essex, like the pressure, he's had that pressure. Like he said, we expect, and it's like other programs, when you talk about it, you don't want to be the kids to be let down. You don't want to be the ones that's not having the program success, so pressure is on you. And again, that's in him already. So now that moves over, it's not going to be like, oh my God, like
what's
I'm
funny?
expecting it.
I remember going to college for my first preseason and having a lot of my teammates who were also first years, not be used to having, we had double and triple, double sessions for sure, but we had double sessions, and it was like a first time that some of my teammates had ever had more than one, so it was like an adjustment, but that was something I'd known since 7th grade, so it's true. It is definitely, a school where athletics, they'll be prepared for the next level for sure.
Before we get into a quick topic, it was funny because I was actually talking about this with one of our principals today, so I want to bring that up to you. But I look like, Jen, I might wear this to school tomorrow to work. Do you think anyone will say anything to me?
Well, it just has Drew Locke's name on the back, so
still,
some people might be confused.
Yeah. I'm going to fall asleep in this tonight, though. I'm going to do that. But I do want to bring up a quick topic, and we kind of talked about it, but when talking to one of a friend of mine in school today, one of the principals, while we were working,
Right,
but of course, but just talking to him, it was actually while we were doing some Windows updates, we started to talk about college football, and we were talking about quarterbacks and stuff like that, how they're not ready, why they're not ready. And we got into the topic of, should college coaches, and we're going to ask on the high school level, but, are college coaches wrong for not developing them? And when we mean develop them is getting them ready for the next level. And that means, like, we were saying, you have a guy who's going to go into the NFL as a quarterback who can't take a snap from under center. And I mean, I know is when you say, well, that's crazy, but it's not, so what's your thoughts on that in high school? I'm going to throw a couple at you, but we'll start with football.
Can I just answer first?
Sure.
Okay. So, and again, oftentimes when we have discussions like this, because we coach different sports, it can be a little bit different, right? So keeping in mind that my high school coaching experience is field hockey, basketball, and lacrosse. In general, as a coach, right? Please don't interrupt me.
No. How you know I'm going to interrupt you?
Just history. In general, as a high school coach, my philosophy is what I want my student athletes to take away from their time in my program is several things. First of all, hopefully a love of the game, that they grow as a person and a player in my program, and that they learn life skills through athletics that they're going to carry with them for the rest of their lives. So that's first and foremost. With that said, I would be lying if I said that I didn't want to win, right? Or felt that I had to win. So do I want to win? Of course. And then through the preparation of all those other goals that I have, I'm also hoping that they, through teamwork and hard work and dedication, that they see their hard work come to fruition through wins, right? Because you want to see the fruits of your labor, right? And the success. So with that all said, I think it's more than just preparing kids for the next level, right? Because you're not going to have every kid. Now, this isn't a high school standpoint, right? Okay? You're not going to have every kid that's going to play at that next level. So I feel that it was my job to teach them as much about the game as I could. So, however, balancing my strengths and weaknesses that I have on my team also to, still have success. So I don't think that I can necessarily say that I ever coached a team to prepare all of my kids for the next level, but I hope, just like a teacher where I'm meeting the needs of all of my kids, that the kids who did go on to the next level were prepared for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I'm going to get to a specific question, but Dr. John's saying, like, is Ridgewood wrong for running Windows 5 while winning state titles? Yeah. And so I'll translate into basketball.
Well, we know what Kurt thinks about
that. No, I will, because again, we had a great conversation in school today, and when it's crazy because I'll get to the basketball, but into the football aspect. When you think about it, it's like in high school you could stay in a shotgun. It's all about, okay, I have more athletes than you. We're gonna spread them out, beat them. Okay, transition that to college. 90% of that time, you could probably still do that, right? In a pro level, you can't do that.
Right, so you're saying, are you doing a disservice?
Right. So now my basketball question is, okay.
It was like Jim Boeheim.
Right. Well, I'm saying in a high school,
okay.
I'm going to play kids in a 2-3 zone.
Okay.
Right? That's what we're going to play, in a 2-3 zone. Not even teach the man. We're not going to run the man. We're going to play zone. Whatever, 1-2-2, whatever you want to play, but 2-3 zone. Because I want to be more quote unquote competitive. Those kids though on that next level, I mean, seriously, unless you're going to Syracuse.
But that's not. I don't think that's a fair comparison, because if your basketball is so you have. If you're just going to run a 2-3 zone, you're definitely doing your kids a disservice, because you're not teaching the fundamentals of man-to-man defense. That's not preparing them for the next level. That's a failure to teach them the game. So I don't think that that's a fair comparison, that type of comparison.
But I'm saying by running the 2-3 zone, because, I mean, you could be a zone team. I don't want to run man. I might believe there's people that are out there.
But I think that as a coach, you have to, know what your team, like you need to have your players be able to play different types of defenses for the different types of opponents you're going to see. So to say that's why I am not a fan of Jim Boeheim's defensive strategy, because, again, has he been successful with it? I mean, he's got one national championship, right? But, thanks Mello. But, he I think he does do those kids a disservice. I do.
But I'm going to go back. I want to go back more to the high school level. I'll go back to a football example, okay? And like Dr. John's talking about the wing T, Windows 95, right? I mean, that's, pulling with buck sweep and trapping and stuff like that. Now, I'm not going to say that doesn't happen on the next level, but I know we had Lou Saunders, and I'm still waiting for him to do the podcast with me, but 99% of it is not. Like, should you be taught, hey, a drop back pass set, right? Not waggle. On the next level, if I'm playing an offensive line, offensive tackle, I'm going to have to block this monster coming at me one-on-one. Should that staff, in the high school level, be practicing that instead of saying, okay, well, all we're going to run is waggle, so let's just run waggle. Like, that's my question. I
can't speak to the football specifics, but I feel like, I never played, obviously, and never coached, but I feel like you were someone who was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Did a lot of different window dressings for things and really tried to keep it fresh and different and in turn keep your opponent on their toes. And I think that's the advantage of that, right? That if you're doing something so predictable, eventually when you get to the better competition,
right,
it's more not necessarily going, but more likely to be stopped. And I feel like you need to have more tricks in your pocket to then combat how they're stopping you.
Right.
So that would,
I guess going back to basketball again, so is it in your opinion a head coach's job or a program, but head coach basketball, teach the kid without a doubt how to play man-to-man defense. All right? How to press. Like, is that because on the next level they're going to get asked to do that? Right?
Well,
that's my question. Is it the school's or the coach's responsibility?
I'm gonna say that as a coach, I think of a coach as a teacher. That yes, I think that it is my even at the younger levels, like to introduce them, to give them the groundwork so that the next level can then build upon it. But I don't see that as preparing them for the next, like for in high school, varsity basketball. I don't see that as preparing them for collegiate basketball. I see that as my job as really a teacher, coach, to show them as much about the game. I used to say to my kids all the time, specifically in lacrosse and basketball, if you can go to another team, right, and you don't know their plays, you don't know this, you don't know that, and you can play pickup ball and like hop in because you know basic movement on offense, like I shouldn't be standing with the ball. If I pass, I'm going to screen away. If I'm help defense, like, communication, like those are the things that you should be able to hop in on anything and kind of know the basics and what to do. So I don't think that's preparing them for the next level. I just think that's helping them understand the game.
But again, like going back to football, see, I think it is because, you see it on a professional level and you hear...
I shouldn't say that it's not preparing for the next level. Maybe that's the bonus of doing it. It would help them prepare. But my goal isn't like, I want to prepare them for the next level. My goal is I want them to know as much as possible about the game. And if it's helping prepare them for the next level, then that's the bonus of that.
But okay, so say, okay, I'm an offensive coordinator or a head coach. I want to run a lot of shotgun. Is it still my responsibility to make sure that quarterback, maybe whether it's not in a game, but hey, he's taking 100 snaps a week under center. He's going to boot the other way. Or is it just, hey, we're shotgun, stop, look left, you don't like it, run. Like, that's what I'm saying. Or should there be progressions? Should there, put him under center just so he sees it? Because what happens now, especially in a quarterback position, that kid now graduates, right? That kid goes to whatever level you want to say, 1, 2, or 3. Okay? Now you go to 3, and you can't say, well, you shouldn't go to that college if he's under center. I'm sorry, but that kid now is on a depth chart. Before he can get to 1 and 2, he has to learn how to take a snap under center. That's a big disadvantage for the kid. So what I'm saying is that as a OC or a head coach, this kid has to get snaps under center. Whether I'm not going to run it as plays, but I got to get him snaps in center. Is that my responsibility?
I would say yes to a degree, but then I think you have to evaluate if that's, like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to run that if that's not what his strong suit. Is there a comment that you wanted to share?
Yeah, Dr. John, I think scouts are so good nowadays. They can pick up on player abilities and can project how a player will fit into their system. In the end, I think there's a lot of D1 high school players who were unsophisticated schemes, probably because they may have been the only D1 player in the area and their teammates didn't have this. Another good point.
That is a good point, too.
Another good point.
Yeah. Well, it's and that's when you're talking high school. That's a hard thing. I was thinking, like, when you were talking about, like, should your quarterback get snaps under center, like, I'm thinking about a point guard. Do you want your point guard to know how to run a pick and roll? You do, but what if you don't have another player that can successfully even execute that with them? That's a real problem. That could really happen.
But do you work it and explain it? I mean,
would I introduce my kids to pick and roll?
And work on it, and work on it. I mean,
it's not. Listen, if it's not something but here's the thing. You also have to, as the head coach, you have to find what's going to make you successful too. So you can't waste your time on something that you're never going to run. I mean, do you want to expose your players to it? Of course, but then at the same time, you have to really focus on what's going. So you have to balance that. Right. Like, what am I going to introduce and what am I going to really spend time on, because we're going to execute that in our game plan.
Like, we just got into the discussion today. We were talking about NFL. One of the quarterbacks in the draft this year, and they're saying, well, he's definitely at least a year away because he's got to learn how to take snaps on their center, and it's like, this is you're talking about NFL players who are going to be making millions of dollars and they can't take a snap from under center. So we're saying, like, is that on the college coach? Like, I mean, and listen, his answer was, he's got to win. So his answer is put him in the gun and make him run 4 plays.
I'm going to play a little devil's advocate on that, because now you've gotten to the NFL level and you're saying you can't take a snap under center. That's like we were talking about Mitchell Robinson on the Knicks. You're an NBA player and you can't make a free throw, right? Like, so where is his time on his own?
That's a little different, though.
But how are you not in the off season? Why does it have to be? Why aren't you doing something? It's not like he hasn't had off season, hasn't had
right. But why? But here's my point, though. But why would I? Why
for a coaching staff to help him with that? Even if it's
you're saying coaching staff, because if I'm by myself if I'm a junior in high school and I'm a quarterback, and all I'm running is shotgun zone read, in the summer, I'm not going to work on by myself taking snaps under center. I mean, why? I'm not going to use it in college, in high school, right? We don't run that.
But you're just
I'm saying
contradicting your whole
no.
point.
But why is the player got to do that?
If the player is going to do it, why is the coach? If the player is saying I'm never going to do this, why would the coach? Because he knows he's not going to run it in school. Why would the coach work on it with him then? Why would he take practice time away from the entire team to prepare the quarterback for something that he's not going to run in practice? You're saying the quarterback knows he would never run it. So if you want to make yourself a complete play, listen. I was a point guard in high school. I was never going to post anybody up, but you know what? I worked on post moves. I did.
Right, but the whole
conversation, I did a lot of other things.
But I guess the whole conversation is, like you're saying, the player. Like, is it still me as the coach to get that kid and say, hey, listen, we're probably going to be in shotgun 100% of the time, but I still want you taking snaps on the center, so when you get to the next level, you're ready to go. So that's my point. Because listen, it is a big question. You see people on the highest level not being able to do basic stuff. You know, that's like saying a high school team, okay, we're all hitters, we don't bunt at all. I mean, are they responsible to teach them to bunt and work on bunting, even though they're not going to bunt every day in school? What do you do?
Well, again, I think you have to find that balance. There's no right or wrong answer. You have to find the balance of, exposing your players to those things, and then also, but not overdoing it with something that's not going to ultimately help you with what you have and what your goals are.
It's interesting.
It is
because,
interesting. Absolutely.
You just can't go and say, oh, well, I am blaming the college. I mean, again, you look from...
I wasn't blaming the college.
No. I'm saying we were talking in our conversation. We were saying, is it the college coach?
When you get to that point, again, there's all, players are doing things all the time outside of season and, practice time to improve their game and be more well-rounded. So
I guess, we come, and again, we could have a debate. We could have Coach Breslin on. We could have maybe Dr. John. It's, is it win at all costs, especially in high school level, win at all costs, develop, look at the next level. I mean, it's hard, Hey, I'm gonna run buck sweep, and I'm gonna run the wing tee because that's what we run best. We're not running inside zone. Losing that line. You're never gonna go to high school unless you're probably in one or two schools, and they're gonna say, okay, run buck sweep. They're gonna tell you to say run inside outside zone.
I will say, for me, as a former high school coach, it never was, and if I ever return to it, never will be win at all costs. Never. Listen, that could make me, I don't know, no, you don't have to agree, but to me, high school sports, that's not what it's about. Did I win things? 100%. But was that my win at all costs? Absolutely not.
Okay.
My players are people first.
Can I put you on the spot then and contradict you on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just said win at all costs, right? I mean, you're not going to win at all. You're not going to do win at all costs. So then why, if you're playing, say, Holy Angel, what's the real good Catholic school up in that area? Mount St. Dominic, okay? And you can't play them man-to-man. You just can't. But hold on. But you played in a zone because...
That's not.
But wait.
That's not the definition of win at all costs. Having a game strategy.
But wait a minute. But my point though is, But I'm saying is just staying in zone to keep you most competitive, as opposed to hold. Can I finish?
Win at all costs is not. That's not what that phrase means. It doesn't mean having a strategy or switching what you have. Do you want to win games? Of course you do. And it gets back to my original point. Like for basketball. We had. What would my defensive preference be? Man-to-man, of course, right? I'm just a man-to-man fan, fundamental principles of man-to-man defense. However, you know what? We had installed an odd front zone, an even front zone, 3/4 court pressure, full court pressure, because you don't know who you're going to see. It gets back to my original point of where I want my players prepared for all situations. So were there times I was going to abandon man-to-man? Yes. That's not win at all costs. Do I want to win? Of course. And I'm hoping that everything we do in preparation, like I said earlier, I prefaced this entire conversation with, would lead to that. Right? But win at all costs has a very different meaning for me. That means sacrificing your players, asking kids to play hurt, putting the winning above their personal needs.
Right.
That's what win at all costs means to me. So allow me to clarify. I'm not saying I don't want to win.
Right.
Of course I want to win.
Listen, it's a great topic because, again, you see it again from high school to college, from college to pros, and it's just it's crazy when you think of, you're going to have guys, in all seriousness, somebody in an NFL draft who might go number 2, okay, as a quarterback, and they basically said he cannot get on the field. He has to learn to take snaps under center. Crazy. Going number 2. That's going to be making, seriously, like $10 million out of the gate, and he can't take a snap under center. So they're going to have to spend a whole year to teach him to do that. It's, and my whole point was, why didn't, in our conversation today in school, why didn't any school teach him? Seriously, he went through high school and he went through college, and he can't take a snap under center, and nobody worked with him on it. It's fascinating. And, you get to NBA, just throw the kid in there. It's 5-on-5. I'm better than you. I'm going to make a move. Some sports, it doesn't work like that. It just does not work like that. Baseball, you're hitting a baseball. You're not going to, you're going to work on stuff, but it's not like, oh my God, like, it's not like I'm going to, I'm a lefty, now I'm going to come righty. It's the way it is.
Good topic.
Oh, good topic.
Right, well,
again, Mr. Corbo today, great interview.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Everybody at home, thank you for watching. We appreciate you tuning in.
And see